Hey everybody and welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you today about earning and the principles of making money. So we talked about this before, but I really want to break this down to where it makes more sense. So what we've been doing so far, just talking about the basics, but we really want to dive into this. So let's talk about earning. When I'm talking about earning, I'm talking about how you make money and what you're making. So for me, there was a huge difference between when I was a salaried employee and when I was a 1099 employee. And a lot of people don't understand the true difference between being a salaried employee and being a 1099 employee. So let's break this down. So I have a friend of mine who, very smart guy, went to Harvard. He's extremely intelligent, just like the smartest guy I know, also works as a physician. So he works as a salaried employee. And the issue with that is that when you're a salaried employee, your time is fixed. And when your time is fixed, your income is fixed. And when your income is fixed, you can't expand and grow and build. So let's really break down what you have to do to continue to leverage your salary to make more money or have a different way of earning, or to transition to where you can leverage that same position as a 1099. For myself, I started off as a salaried employee and then I ended up keeping the same job. However, I converted to a 1099. Now, here's the great thing about that is when I made the transition from a salaried employee to a 1099, it did several things. One is it broke my contract. So a lot of doctors, you guys know that we get contracts, you get like a sign-on bonus and things like that. And then sometimes if you break that contract, you have to pay that bonus back. So here's the beautiful thing about this. When I signed on for a 1099, I wasn't the person who broke the contract. The hospital was required to break the contract to stop me from being employed by the hospital to being an independent contractor. Now, what made this great was that one is I still worked in the same location. I still got paid the same amount. The only difference is the person who was getting paid changed. So it was no longer Dr. Butler who was getting a paycheck from the hospital. It was now my corporation, which is BlitzMed LLC. So BlitzMed LLC is now the independent contractor, and me being a hospitalist, I was working for myself as an independent contractor, which is great because most people are scared to be independent contractors because they're scared of their benefits. But in reality, most of the times the benefits that you're paying out of your regular salary anyway. So if you have a regular salary, you're paying your money from your salary on either a bi-weekly basis or a monthly basis, however you get paid, to pay for the things and the benefits that you want. Like you want health insurance? Great. Your hospital is not going to just give you free health insurance. They're going to pay for it or split it with you. So if they're splitting it with you, I don't know, maybe you're like 40%. There's some different kind of places where it's like maybe if you work for some place like Penn Health or Kaiser or one of these major hospitals or not hospitals, but groups. So in this case, if you work for one of these hospitals or one of these groups and you're a salaried position, they're going to split the healthcare costs with you, which is fantastic. However, where are you making the most money? So if you can make more money in a salaried position than you can as a 1099, great. Then stay 1099 or stay a salaried position, wherever you're making the most, because it's all about leveraging. So we want to create as much income as possible and we want to have as much earning as possible. And if I'm earning more as a 1099 than a salaried position, then I'm going to switch. So after breaking down and doing all the math, I went from being a hospitalist who was a full salary position to a 1099 position. Now, what made this great is that when I took more shifts, when I did more work, I had to get paid more. It was no longer salary based. This is where I found a huge difference. So when I was working salary, it was like, hey, you're 7 on, 7 off. So every time I'm working 7 days and it's, 7 off. If I picked up more shifts over a certain amount, they would actually start paying me more. However, you had to meet the minimum requirement, usually like a certain amount of shifts per year. So if you're doing hospitalist or internal medicine or something of that nature, where it's like maybe your requirement is 160 days a year. And then once you start picking up more than that, you might start getting paid more. Some people are obligated to work more shifts depending on when their schedule and their timeline and breakdown is. So for myself, when I first started working, I was working at a job where they had a breakdown of time in the middle of the month, which was terrible. And I didn't realize this until after I started working there. So like they would work from like, let's say the 15th of the month to the 15th of the month. But if you're working 7 on, 7 off, and your schedule resets in the middle of the month, I could be 7 on, 7 off, 7 on. The schedule goes to reset. Then I go from being 7 on to literally 14 on. But they wouldn't count it as 14 straight. They would count it as, oh, that was your 7 on. Then it reset. You did 7 on again. Now you get 7 off. So it led to a point where I was working almost double the amount of shifts that I was supposed to, but I was still getting paid the exact same amount, which was extremely frustrating, and it just pissed me off all the time. Like, I got frustrated, I got depressed, I got tired of being worked so hard and burnt out and not making more money. So that was something that was really impeding on how I was earning money. However, when I became locums, they cannot schedule you to do shifts without your permission unless you decide to stay with the same shifts. So that's what I started doing. So when I started doing locums, I was still taking the same shifts on, except in this case, now my schedule was dictated by me because I'm an independent contractor, and independent contractors set their own schedules. So in this case, it was no longer to the point where I had to ask for vacation or I had to go ask for somebody to do something for me. It was easier than that. Now what I got to do was I got to create my own schedule. So I didn't have to ask for my kids' birthdays off. I didn't have to ask for family vacations. I didn't have to ask any of that. All I had to do was make sure that I met my obligations and I was still able to make the same money or more money because I had a corporate tax structure, now taxes wasn't coming out. So now whatever I got paid to the dime, I got that exact amount. No taxes were taken out, nothing like that. And because that was the case, now my corporation could take over the benefits that I was scared to lose. So a lot of people might be like, I want to, but I'm scared to lose my benefits. Or I want to, but I'm scared to do this, or I'm scared to do that because it doesn't seem stable. The issue with that is you're banking that your stability is based on someone else providing it for you. So if your lifestyle is only stable because someone else says that it's stable for you, then that means that you're based off of them. If they change their mind, if they decide to fire you, if the group gets sold, which is also something that happened to me. I was working for a group. I didn't have any issues with the group directly, but when the group was sold to another company, that company had a lot of different rules. They reset people's vacation times. They had different alterations for when your bonuses or how you meet bonus criteria, which means that I went from getting paid a bonus every year or every 6 months to now I don't qualify for the bonus. And even though I was doing the same metrics, even though I was still doing the same good work, the issue was that group had a different policy. Their policy was every single person in the group has to hit that metric for the entire group to get a bonus. If somebody fails, then we all fail. And if we all fail, then no one gets the bonus. And how annoying is that? Like, if I come to the game and I'm playing as hard as possible and I'm like Kobe Bryant in this mess or I'm LeBron James in this, and all of a sudden there's somebody who's like an off the bench player who goes in there, like shoots a few 3-pointers and maybe makes one and then misses the rest and then fouls out. Like, that person is useless on the team. But my metrics and my payments and my money depends on that person. Nah, I wasn't having it. So I didn't feel like that was something I wanted to deal with anymore. So I created my own bonuses. If I get my own bonuses, if I'm my own person and my own contractor, then I can dictate those things. And that's what the difference is and the truth is about earning. As a salaried employee, you're a W-2, which means that your money is taxed before you get to touch it. Your money is taxed. What's taken out is your benefits. All of the things that you pay is taken out before you touch it. So let's say you're making $250, $240, whatever, $300,000 a year, $320 a year, whatever it is. You have to cut that money multiple times before you even get to touch it. And that's why NBC put out like a new article. Like recently they put out an article stating that people even up to $250,000 a year are starting to live paycheck to paycheck. And it's not because these people are dumb or anything like that. It's because they're not managing the core principles of financial literacy. And the way that they're earning money, they're leveraging what they're earning without considering everything that has to be taken out. So when you're earning more like that and you're getting taxed harder than that, your benefits are coming out, your upkeep with your life is going to be difficult. The taxes that you're paying, or we already said taxes, but you know what I mean? Like, you're paying the taxes, you're paying for your upkeep, you're paying for your living, you're paying for your lifestyle. And then there's like what happens now is it seems like a recession is occurring, right? So if we're going into a recession market, we're going into an inflation market, everything is costing more, but your wages aren't increasing. So that means you're getting diminished returns on your investment. You're getting less and less value and less bang for your buck. And if you're getting less and less bang for your buck, what are you supposed to do with that? how you're earning your money matters. Who it's going to matters. So if you're paying all your money with taxes up front, then things are going to hit you harder and you're going to feel the difference. So a recession might hit someone like that harder versus somebody doing the exact same job who might have a corporate structure. You're paying taxes after the fact. All the money comes in and then you decide what to do with it. So if you want to have the same benefits, then great, you're paying for the same benefits. In this case, your corporation is paying for those benefits, and then those payments become a tax write-off. So you might have way better health insurance than you've ever had before and pay about the same amount, which is what I did. So initially, I did the math for how much I was paying, and then I ended up getting like a United Healthcare plan. And with the United Healthcare plan, I had, like they have tiers like silver, platinum, or whatever. So I ended up still getting like C-suite level type of care and not having to pay much. And then I was able to get my dad insurance. I was able to get my entire family insurance. And it was about the same amount, right, on a monthly basis. So in this case, it was a good transition. I got better health insurance and it took less money. And then that health insurance was a tax write-off. Why? Because it was a corporate expense. So from a hospital standpoint, when they give you benefits, it's a write-off for them. If you get your own benefits, it's a write-off for you. So in this case, I'd rather have the write-off be for me and still get the benefits of the insurance rather than paying someone else to do it. So if you understand like these small little details, then you start to understand where money is really coming from and where it's going. And if it's going in your favor, then you can build from that. So you really have to understand earnings to a level that makes sense. The other difference here is that a lot of people still feel like they struggle with the fact that time and money aren't the same thing. You'll hear this a lot where people say, well, time is money, time is money, time is money. That's not true. So I brought this up multiple times. And the reason I keep bringing it up is because it's going to keep being relevant. Time is not money. Money is money and time is time. And money itself is just a tool. And you do not want to use your time or sell your time chasing tools. It doesn't make sense because your time is fixed. So you only have so much time on this earth. You only have so much time in a day. So in 24 hours a day, if 12 of those hours, 14 of those hours, 16 of those hours are spent for you working in the hospital all the time, the rest of the time is you sleeping, repairing, and getting ready to restart your day over and over and over again. And you have to keep on doing that. And sometimes it takes a lot out of you. And depending on the hospital you work in, the region you work in, they're going to require different things. Sometimes you're working during the week and then all of a sudden, oh, it's your night to cover nights. So you might have like 6 days where you work a regular day and then the 7th day is nights, or it rotates, or 1 week you cover nights, or every hospital is different. Or even if you're working like in a clinic and then sometimes you have to cover every other weekend or something like that. You're giving more and more time, but you're not going to be getting more and more money. And the reason is because you're salaried. So if you're a W-2 agent, or if you're working as a W-2, you're going to be stuck in a fixed level, right? And I don't want to be stuck. I don't know how many of you guys are stuck or feel stuck, but the truth is I don't want to be stuck. And again, 74% of physicians feel like in the medical world, they do not have financial literacy competence, which is huge. That's a huge number. That's actually absurd to think about 74% of us not knowing what we're doing with our money. And I fell into that same category. So this is why I started the podcast. This is why I talk about it. This is why it matters, because 74% is a huge number. And I was in that same category. And it's not like I'm a billionaire, but at the same time is I'm starting to gain control over things that I want to have control over. Like I want to have control over my time. I don't want to have to ask for vacation. I don't want to have to ask for somebody or beg with somebody to switch with me. And I've been in that boat, and that's annoying, right? Like if you really want some time off and you're like, hey, can you swap me with these days because I want to take this time off. It's my mom's birthday and I want to be able to do something nice for her. Oh, I can't, or this week is hard for me, or I wish you would have told me sooner. Like you get all kinds of nonsense. It'd be like a month in advance and no one wants to switch with you. Or sometimes they will switch with you, but it's like at an absurd rate. It's like, hey, I'll switch with you if you cover like all 10 of these days so I can go on vacation. You're like, bro, that means I have to work 17 days in a row for you to cover 3 days for me. Go take it or leave it. Like sometimes it gets savage out here. And like a lot of people might not want to mention that or say it, but when it comes to doctors, we're competitive and sometimes we're savages too. So it is what it is. But I've been in situations like that where I have to beg to get time off. Or if I can't get it or no one wants to switch with me, then I have to just work through it. So it's like, okay, I have to miss my kid's birthday, or I have to miss my mom's birthday, or something like that, or I can't go on vacation, or I can't do this because no one wants to switch with me, or I have to request it and they can't fill the schedule in time, so my request gets denied. I don't want my request to be denied. This is why when I want to earn money, I want to earn it as a contractor, because the biggest thing I have to leverage, the biggest thing I have to invest in life isn't ever going to be money, it's time. And you've already invested years upon years to become a doctor or to become a nurse or to become a lawyer or to become whatever you do in your field. You've invested years into that. You need a return on that investment. So you can't get a return on your investment if your time is always being sold. So if you're stuck in a salary position, if you're in a W-2 position, and if you love your job, fantastic. I'm not telling anyone to quit their job. I'm not telling anybody to immediately switch to being locums, nothing like that. I'm saying be mindful of your time and understand how valuable it is, because you're not going to get it again. No matter what, you're not going to get that time back. But if you learn something, if you spend that time wisely and you get a return on it, then we're making progress. So these breakdowns, this podcast, the goal of it is for you to understand how to invest. Investing is extremely simple if you understand the basics. And the basics of that is knowing where you're earning money from, where you're spending that money, how to understand the balance and the budgeting between that. And once you understand the basics and the core principles of surviving with just your money, now you can start moving forward into actually building wealth. Now you can start investing in whatever you want to invest in. It can be stocks, it could be real estate, it could be transportation, it could be government contracting, it could be e-commerce. Whatever you have a fancy for, whatever makes you happy. If you're a car person, maybe you want to do car rentals just so you have access to a bunch of nice cars all the time. And it doesn't really matter what you like, as long as you like it and it's something that you could be passionate about or you actually have an interest in, then matter of fact, you don't even have to like it. Some of the things that I invest in have nothing to do with my interests. Like vending machines don't like tickle my fancy, but they make money. And if this is the case and they're making money and it's offsetting what I need to do, then I'll just invest in things in certain locations to offset my own personal costs. For example, if I put a vending machine in the gym that I go to, the people at the gym will pay me to go to the gym. Now I have a reason. One is I already want to go there to work out. I'm already trying to get in shape, the best shape that I can be in. And at the same time, other people are sitting there buying the Gatorades that I bought from Sam's Club or like Costco or something. So if I bought them for pennies on the dollar and other people are buying it now for $2 per each Gatorade or whatever it may be, you know how much they cost when you put them in vending machines. But other people are now, they're paying for my membership. They're paying for me to go to the gym, and then I just restock stuff while I'm already there. You see what I'm saying? So now it's like, it's leverage. I use my time properly and I still get to enjoy the things I want, and someone else pays for it or someone else offsets that because I'm providing a service that they want anyway. They would have bought the Gatorade anyway. They just wouldn't have bought it from you. But in this case, now they're buying it from me. Or people are going to rent a car. Now they're just renting it from me. Or people are going to rent an apartment or rent, different units in Airbnb. But now it's just coming from me. I'm providing the exact same service that already exists in the world, but now I have a new way of earning money. And that income allows me to have more free time. There's times where I don't have to go to work for an entire month. I don't have to go do any locum shifts whatsoever. I get to spend time with my family. I get to spend time doing the podcast. I get to spend time studying. So I get to spend time the way that I choose to spend it. And this is only possible because I have to control the way that I earn money. So this is just to say that if you're able to manage and how you control your money, then you'll have those same access points and you'll be able to do things the same way. Now, if you don't want any changes to take place in life, then don't change anything. However, you should learn another skill set. So that other skill set should be focused on trying to create another stream of income or another revenue that you can have, so that way you have something that's a little bit more stable. Because if everything that you have depends on one leg of income for yourself or one way of earning money, then if anything knocks that income stream over, then you're done. So you have to have multiple streams of income. And this is what I focus on coaching and teaching with my clients is I teach them and show them other ways of having streams of income. And it really doesn't matter what you're interested in, but if you focus on something that's recession proof and you focus on something that's always going to last and be there for you, then you can have that stability. You can say, hey, I don't need to work 15, 16, 17, 18 shifts per month, maybe I can just stick to my 14. Or you know what? Maybe I can dial it back and only do 7 shifts a month because I know I can offset that amount because other income is coming in. And if you're only doing 7 shifts a month, that's 3 weeks that you can focus on your business, focus on your family, focus on yourself, and build yourself the way that you like. So for myself, I like trading. So I do a lot of trading in the stock market. I like to trade a lot of times in terms of stocks, options, things of that nature. And some people are scared of these things. But again, it is a basics of learning a new skill set. So if you'd like to learn a new skill set, if you need more help in terms of learning a new way of streams of income, then head over to the mdinvestor.com. You can sign up easily. You can share your email with us, and then we can give you information on you figuring out what you like best. And whatever works best for you, reach out for us so we can help you. You always have YouTube, which is always going to be a free information guide for you. But if you want that one-on-one help, if you need coaching, if you need a program that's going to help you build up, then I'm here to help you. As always, I'm always wishing you guys health, wealth, and happiness, and I will see you guys soon in the next podcast.